Very good evening. I am Dr. Paresh Karya. I am part of Ahmedabad Management Association. And on behalf of AMA, once again, I welcome all of you here. And we have a very interesting session. And we have both the expert speaker here, right? And just as a standard do's and don'ts on behalf of AMA for this program, make sure that your smartphone, you keep it to silent. I'm giving you a few seconds, don't worry. Make sure that it is to the silent so we enjoy, we can take the full benefit of the content by the expert speaker, right? Second part of our do's and don'ts is if you have any question after, during you are listening the program or after the programs, we have Q&A session for last 10 minutes, okay? So I will request, we will not interrupt when, speaker is here and is giving the input to us, okay? So they're too critical, make sure that we follow it. And last, again, we insist as a AMA, there is a feedback form given to you. So ensure that you give your feedback to the AMA. And we strongly believe that your feedback is breakfast for us to make program better and better. So this was input. Second, all of you know AMA very well, right? AMA, Ahmedabad Management Association, is a happening place, right? And I would like to refresh you that Ahmedabad Management Association has many programs, right? This type of open forum. We have many workshops, seminars, management development programs, import-export focused programs. We have a diploma program. So I personally request each one of you, please stay connected with Ahmedabad Management Association physically and digitally, right? So, and after this program also, if you want to refresh this talk, you can also go and visit the YouTube. This program will be recorded, right? And you can refresh. Now coming back to our topic today, the topic is very, very interesting. The role of commodities in India, growth outlook. As a preamble of this program, India is a vast country, huge country, right? With a diverse economic landscape. And the commodity play an important role in our country's growth outlook. And that is why this topic today, right? India is the second largest producer and consumer of commodities. We all are aware, right? We are the second largest. Even if we talk about this commodities, role play in the growth outlook, it has a direct connect with employment. It has a direct connect with the manufacturing industry because this commodity is an input for them. So I don't know to give you too much input. I know there are experts here. But directly we go to the main part of the program. As a part of our formality, I have a proud and privilege to introduce both the speaker and our first speaker, Mr. G. Chandrashekhar. How many of you, yeah please. How many of you don't know Mr. G. Chandrashekhar? Raise your hand. Wow. Sir, your popularity is 99.9%. So one more clap for all of you guys.
And I'm humble. Thank you very much. God bless you.
Sir, this is the first time I have seen 99% popularity here in the audience, right? So, but again, as a part of just to input to you guys, Mr. Chandrashekhar, economist, senior journalist, and policy commentator. Mr. Chandrashekhar is economic advisor to IMC Chamber of Commerce, and is a director to IMC Economic Research and Training Foundation. He is a global agribusiness and commodities market specialist and serve as an independent member to SEBI Commodity Derivatives Advisory Committee. Very responsible job sir is doing. He provides policy input for the government mainly through his columns in the Hindu newspaper. Is very popular, Hindu Business Line newspaper. And he appears regularly on the business television. He has been training stakeholder on hedging and price risk management for more than 15 years. So, sir, warm welcome to you on behalf of AMA. And, sir, it's a nice memory to have a small flower. And one more formality from you, sir.
Oh, lovely. Thank you. I'm truly delighted. Thank you.
Thank you, Chandrashekhar ji. And now our second speaker, right, Mr. Amit Upadhyay. How many of you don't know Mr. Amit ji? Raise your hand. Sir, only 0.9% less, but it is great popularity. So again, one more clap for Mr. Amit ji. Amit Upadhyay is a Vice President, Business Development and Market Data Sales at NCDEX. Very responsible position. He is MBA in Finance and has more than 20 years of experience in banking and finance segment. Amit Bhai has deep knowledge of financial markets and specialized in equity, currency, and commodities segment. Plenty to talk about Amit Bhai. He has been very instrumental in helping SMEs and MSME in setting up their hedging desk. So Amit Bhai is basically providing a great service. And Amit Bhai, again, welcome on behalf of all the audience in AMA. Such small memory for you. I'll come there. One more formality. Anita ji, you have to come here. So big clap for madam and my daughter also. She was instrumental to support us to have both this expert and ma'am on behalf of AMA, I can come down. Sure, sir, sure. Daughter, AMA remembers your contribution.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, I'll do that. So, without taking much time, maybe before we start the session, anybody wants to come close here? Front row is open, 3-4 seat. थोड़ा आगे आ जाओ. Quick, थोड़ा जल्दी आ जाओ. Okay. Now, I request Chandrashekhar sir to please start the session here.
All right, sure. Thank you. Thank you. On behalf of IMC, I have a pleasant duty to perform. And that pleasant duty is to reciprocate the love and affection and respect that we received from AMA. And therefore, I first want to invite Dr. Dixit. Is Dr. Dixit here? Okay. Then I'll then invite Dr. Karia. I want to hand over a small memento to Dr. Paresh Karia. Sir, this is from the IUC. And this is something very special. I'm not going to tell you how special it is. I'm sure he'll discover. And then he will tell you maybe next time when he meets you.
Sir, big thank you.
And thank you very much. And even before Amit has delivered his lecture, I'm going to felicitate him simply because I want to put pressure on him to deliver a good lecture by giving me a comment in advance. Thank you very much, Amit. Thank you very much. And there is one more for Dr. Dixit, which of course we'll hand over as we go along. Okay, now let me start. Thank you very much. Anita, is the presentation loaded? Okay, all right, we go. Here we go. Okay, so let me start speaking. All of us, say in the last 15-20 years, we have read about and known about, discussed, watched on television, read in newspapers about commodities, correct? But not many of us are really fully aware of what commodities are and what is their implication and importance for our economy. But I'm going to take you over maybe the next 20-25 minutes through the importance of commodities for India's economic growth and how commodities are going to play a pivotal role in India's economic growth over the next 2-3 decades. There is absolutely no doubt at all. Let me take this opportunity to mention that the IMC Chamber of Commerce and Industry in Bombay, headquartered in Bombay, is a SEBI recognized training institution for commodity derivatives. The SEBI recognized approximately, I think about 20 odd institutions across India to train market participants about to create awareness about commodity markets and risk management. IMC is one of those institutions recognized by SEBI and accredited by SEBI. But IMC is the only chamber of commerce in this country with this kind of an accreditation. There's no other chamber of commerce in India which has this kind of an accreditation from SEBI, and it's a great distinction, and I am quite proud of mentioning this to almost everyone that I get to meet. Okay. Now let me start with my first slide. Okay. What are India's macroeconomic indicators? Very clearly, the bullet points, I'm sure, as students of economics or those who are in business, those who track economy, we're all very clear that India has been and is one of the fastest growing significant economies in this world, right? I'm not going into the number, what was the GDP growth rate in so and so year, etc. All that information is available in the economic survey. Please have a look at the economic survey, which is published one day before the budget. And I'm sure you know it. It's also on the website of the Ministry of Finance, finmin.nic.in. Visit and look at the economic survey for numbers. So we are a rapidly growing economy. We are an emerging economy. Okay. Our forex reserves have also been rising. Any guesses? What is our current foreign exchange reserve? Absolutely. Very nice. Great. So I think this set of participants are so clued and glued into this subject. Very good. Foreign trade. Again, our foreign trade is nothing extraordinary to talk about yet. I think it is growing. Both import and export trade numbers are growing. There is great potential. We have trade deficit. Our imports are more than our exports, but now there are efforts to boost our exports and narrow the trade deficit. But any emerging economy, any developing economy goes through these phases, and we are going through the phase of trade deficit, etc. And that's why the government is talking about Atmanirbhar. Okay, all right. I think that's important for me. Yeah. Okay. Then two-way FDI flows, extremely important. Not many people realize how important this FDI flow is. We've been attracting foreign direct investment over the last two or three decades, in fact, and it's been rising. But something has happened in the last 7 or 8 years, 10 years. Let me mention 10 years. We not only attract inward, that is foreign direct investment into India. Investment not only flows from outside of India into India, capital from India is also flowing outside, which is what? Indian corporates are investing outside of India. Okay? Like foreign overseas entities, business entities want to invest in India. Indian corporates are also now investing abroad, taking over brands, buying out brands, taking over companies, etc., etc. There are any number of examples. For example, Tata's acquisition of Chorus Steel, or Birla Group acquiring Novalis, the aluminium company, and even companies like Marico, Godrej, they are acquiring brands and companies outside. Tata bought the Tetley tea of England, etc. All that. For capital is also going out of India. So we not only attract capital into our country, we are also in a position to send capital outside India. To my mind, this two-way flow of FDI, outward and inward, in my mind, to me, it represents the growing global competitiveness of Indian corporates. Okay, it's a very, very important macroeconomic indicator. Population, all of us know, 140 crores. That number keeps rising. And then our population growth rate is what, about 1.4%, etc. All that, let's not go into those numbers, very big. We are the world's probably the most populous now. We've overtaken China. We overtook China recently. Okay, therefore we are the most populous nation in the world, but we have an advantage in the form of age profile. We are an ancient country with a young population. Actually, we are a nation of children. One third of this country, one third of the population of this country is below the age of 20. Okay, about 25% of our population is below the age of 15. 65% of the population is below the age of 45. And for this young population of India, over the next 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30 years, is going to unleash its productive forces on our economy. It is going to propel our economic growth forward. It is going to contribute to India's economic growth. It is this young population with its voracious appetite for consumption and fantastic aspiration, global aspiration, is going to drive our economy forward. And that's an extremely important macroeconomic indicator for our country, the age profile of the population. It is this young population which is going to become entrepreneurs. It is this young population which will become corporate executives. It is this young population which will become investors. It is this young population which will become professionals, whether it is a doctor or lawyer or architect or engineer or whatever else. It is this young population which is going to do all this, and that is what is going to propel our country forward. Okay, and the last macroeconomic indicator is agriculture. We are the world's third largest agriculture economy after China and the United States, but we have a lot of distinction. We are the world's largest milk producers. We are the world's second largest producers of rice, wheat, sugar, cotton, fruits and vegetables, all that. Okay, so we have a lot of distinction, and the kind of natural endowment that we have is phenomenal in our country. But in fact, agriculture deserves a very separate 1 hour lecture. Doctor, we'll probably do it at some time. Opportunities and challenges in the agriculture sector and agribusiness. We'll do that separately. Therefore, these are macroeconomic indicators. Okay, let's go to the next slide. My view. This is my view. These are the major growth sectors for India over the next 20 years, 25 years. And this growth has already started, believe me, and it will continue over the next 2 decades and more. Agriculture and food, textiles and clothing, housing and infrastructure, energy, transportation, these days it's called mobility. Okay, mobility, healthcare, education, leisure and entertainment. Now, why have I printed the first 5 in capital letters and the last 3 in lower case? The last 3 are services. Okay, last 3 are services. The first 5 have a very significant commodity implication. All of us agree that agriculture and food economy of this country is a growth sector. There's no doubt at all. People have to eat. All of us have to eat, and we'll continue to eat. Okay, and therefore this is a growing sector. It will grow until the time our food needs are satisfied, and our food needs are not going to be satisfied anytime soon, at least 25 to 30 years, if our GDP were to grow consistently at 10%. Okay, and therefore this is a growth sector. And when this is a growth sector, anyone who is associated with this growth sector in any capacity for that matter should know what agriculture commodities are, what are the drivers of this market, what are the dynamics of this agriculture commodity market. Similarly, textiles and clothing. India is underfed as far as food is concerned, therefore our food consumption will grow. Second is textiles and clothing. Big sector, very, very big, very large sector for India, including strong export earnings, $45 billion of apparel and textile export earnings for our country. It employs about 4.5 crore farmers. It employs about 6 crore other downstream processing industry workers, etc. Big job creator and income generator. And this textiles and clothing industry or the sector will keep growing more and more and more over the next 15, 20 years. Okay? India is actually underclothed, believe me. And when I say India is underclothed, I'm not talking about the models walking the ramp in a fashion show. I'm not talking about that. Overall, India's consumption of textiles and clothing is much less than what an average person in the US or in Europe or in any developed economy has. Okay? And you look at even generational gap. You ask your grandparents how many pieces of shirt and maybe dhoti they were wearing, how many pieces they had. Ask your parents what they have. You ask yourself how many pairs of jeans or trouser or shirt or t-shirt, whatever you have, and what are you buying for your children. There is an increase. There is an increase in the consumption of textiles and clothing, and this is going to rise. This is going to expand over the next several decades. And when we talk of textiles and clothing, how can we forget the raw material for textiles and clothing, whether it is cotton or silk or jute or even synthetic fibers. All these are commodities. Cotton, silk, jute and synthetic fibers are all commodities. Therefore, if you are associated with textiles and clothing in any way, you've got to know about the raw material for this industry, which are commodities. Housing and infrastructure. At any given point of time in our economy, we are at least 5 crore dwelling houses short. There's a shortage of dwelling houses in our country. Okay? And therefore, and similarly infrastructure. We want to spend, as our nation wants to spend $1 trillion, $1,000 billion over the next 10 years to promote our infrastructure. What is Gati Shakti? All this is infrastructure development, whether it's roadways, railways, airport, seaport, urban infrastructure, rural infrastructure. We are going to be spending enormous amounts of money. And in any infrastructure project, in any construction project, up to 70% of the cost of the project is accounted for by commodities. Whether it is steel or cement or copper or aluminium or whatever commodity, wood for that matter, rubber for that matter. These are all commodities, and 70% of the cost of any construction project is actually accounted for by commodities. And should we not know about commodity markets? We should know about commodity markets because this is a massive growth sector. Energy fuels economic growth. And you have crude oil, you have natural gas, you have coal, you have biofuels, you have solar energy, wind energy, renewables as we call them. For energy is going to fuel economic growth. And energy sector will continue to grow. There's a strong positive correlation between economic growth and energy consumption. And because we want to grow rapidly, our consumption of energy also will have to grow rapidly, because energy will fuel our growth. And therefore we ought to know, we should know the energy market and the energy commodities, crude oil, natural gas, coal, etc., which is very, very important. And next one is mobility. Whether it is again roadways or railways or airways, seaways, in whatever manner you want to have your mobility, you want to have your transportation, all those are all commodity intensive. Whether electric vehicle, highly metals intensive. Okay? And therefore even in energy, when we talk of energy transition, decarbonization, solar energy, the solar panels are all metals intensive. There's going to be an explosive demand for metals from the solar panel sector and of course from the automobile sector, EV sector. Okay? And therefore agriculture, textiles and clothing, housing and infrastructure, energy, transportation, all these sectors are all energy commodity intensive sectors, and these are the growth sectors for India. And therefore it is important for all of us to understand the drivers of the commodity markets, the dynamics of the commodity market, because we can potentially benefit from a knowledge of the drivers and dynamics of the commodities market, and I'll show you how. Now, therefore, commodity intensity of growth, okay? Because of our rising incomes, population growth, and current consumption of various commodities is very low. As incomes start rising, our consumption of commodities will also start rising. So I'm not going into the other, I think trade in fibers, metals, all this is going to expand. India is already a significant producer, processor, consumer, importer or exporter of a very large number of commodities. We know we are very large importers of crude oil. We know we are very large importers of edible oil, for that matter. We are large importers of fertilizer. We are large exporters of textiles. We are large exporters of jewelry, all that. Okay, and therefore we are significant exporters of various agriculture commodities, which touched $50 billion last year. Okay, including rice and then various other commodities, and therefore our status as a producer of commodities, processor of commodities, consumer of commodities, importer of commodities or exporter of commodities, this status is going to be elevated over the next 15-20 years, because our volumes will become bigger and bigger and bigger as producers, as processors, as consumers, importers and exporters. Given the fact that our population is growing, our incomes are growing, and we have voracious appetite for consumption. Therefore, what's the current and emerging scenario as far as commodity markets are concerned? Very clearly, there is now a lot of freedom to trade. Those of you who have, I'm sure all of you are very young people. 30 years ago, if you had looked at the import-export policy, there used to be 2 thick volumes of import and export policy with a long list of what is allowed for export, what is not allowed for export, what is allowed for import, what is not allowed for import, etc. All that is gone. All the restrictions are gone. You simply have one list, banned list, restricted list, full stop. Everything else is free. What is not in the list of import or export is free. I mean, it's become so simple. Therefore, our policy of liberalization has substantially liberalized both our internal trade and overseas trade. And more important, Indian economy is integrating with the global economy. Indian markets are integrating with the global market. And how are they integrating? Through the trade route. Because import-export trade is liberalized, we are doing more import and export activity. Our import-export activity is expanding. Second is through investment route. As I showed in the FDI bullet point, we receive a lot of foreign direct investment. We also send out investment out of this country. Therefore, through the trade route and through the investment route, Indian economy continues to integrate with the global economy. Indian markets, including the commodity markets, continue to integrate with the global markets. What does this mean? What is the implication? The implication of this integration of the domestic market with the global market is that those who are in this commodity space as a producer, processor, industrial consumer, importer, exporter, whatever, in whatever capacity you are in this commodity space, you've got to have a 360-degree view of what's happening around you. It is not enough if you know what is India's production, India's consumption and India's trade. You need to have a global view. Cotton, if you're in cotton business, and Gujarat is the largest producer of cotton in this country. If you're in cotton business in any capacity, it is not enough for you to know how much is India's production, how much is India's consumption, and how much India may import or export. You need to know what is the export surplus in the United States. You should know what is the production of cotton in China, how much China is going to import. All those are going to impact our market here. And therefore, you need to have a 360-degree vision about any commodity that interests you. And therefore, it is important for all of us to know what drives the market, what are the drivers of the market, what are the dynamics of the market, etc. And because our markets are integrated, the risk in the market is substantially heightened. Okay, and when I say risk, I talk about price risk primarily, because there will be more and more volatility in prices, because there are multiple factors. There is an interplay of multiple factors which interact with each other. This is a slide that I'm fond of showing. VUCA world. I'm sure all of you have heard the word VUCA. Everybody says VUCA, VUCA, VUCA. What is it? Volatility, uncertainty, complexity, and ambiguity. This very simply describes the current global economic condition. And this is the condition that has obtained over the last 3 or 4 years. And I'm sure all of us know. And there is, I don't know whether maybe I'm racing against time. In fact, one of my favorite slides is in the last two years or so, I've been talking about how the world has been hit by 3 successive tidal waves. 2018-19, the US-China trade war. Not many people even remember it now. But we have lived through it and I've commented extensively. 2020 and 2021, the pandemic, second tidal wave. 2022 and 2023, Russia-Ukraine war. The 3 successive tidal waves which have hit this world and which have completely disrupted human life. It has disrupted economic life, and it has wrought extraordinary damage. And of course, we are slowly recovering from it. As always, it always happens. There is a certain resilience in all of us, and therefore we are bouncing back. But the VUCA conditions are not going to go away anytime soon, and we've got to learn to live with these VUCA conditions. Now, that's why, because it's a VUCA world, because our markets are integrating with the global market, because there are risks of price volatility which can hurt your top line and bottom line, we need to learn to manage price risks. Extremely important. Risk mitigation is extremely critical. And in case of commodities, there are several risks. There could be production risk. There could be weather risk first in agriculture commodities. Weather risk, there could be production risk, there could be quality risk, there could be market risk, there could be policy risk. The government may ban some export or ban some import or whatever, or impose duties, customs, tariffs, etc. Therefore, there could be policy risk. Now, there are multiple risks which commodity market participants face. But the best, and we have no control over any of these risks. Can anybody control the world crude oil market? Can any of us do anything about it? But we've got to learn to manage the risks that arise out of the volatility of the crude oil market. And then therefore, the best part is all these risks, whether it is weather risk or production risk, quality risk, trade risk, policy risk, all this finally converges into one factor. And that one factor is price. Today's price reflects all the underlying risks any commodity faces. And then that is why and of course it's more appropriate for me to say it in Gujarati, which is here, Bhav Bhagwan Che. There is a statement I'm sure all of us have heard in the market, Bhav Bhagwan Che. Price is the ultimate reality. There is no other reality in the market. Okay, and we have no control over that, because there are the interplay of so many factors. But if you know how to manage that price risk, you have indirectly managed all the other underlying risks. So this is extremely important. And then therefore, whether you are a producer, you are a processor, you are an industrial consumer, or you are an importer, exporter, whatever be your status, once you learn to manage price risk, then you can protect your top line and bottom line, which is extraordinarily important. And how to protect your top line and bottom line is something Amit will talk about, but I guess I have a couple of more slides. Now, we talked about managing price risk, and that process is called hedging. Okay, hedging of the commodity price risk, about which Amit will explain in detail. But there is another function of the commodity derivatives. And when you hedge your price risk in the commodity market, you use a derivatives contract, which is called a futures contract. Now, the futures contract not only helps you hedge your price risk or manage your price risk, it is another function, it is another advantage which you can use. You can use that futures contract or derivatives contract as a tool for investment. Like you invest in the equity market, you can invest in the commodity market also. Okay? And there is no difference between buying say 100 shares of L&T and possibly buying 100 grams of gold or anything else for that matter. Okay? And therefore, there is the same online trading, etc., all that. For commodities have now become a new class of asset. When we say investment asset, everybody looks at the equity market. Yes, equity is an investment asset class. Commodities have always been perceived as a consumption asset class. But now, some commodities are even becoming investment assets. Gold again, gold is a classic example, but not just gold. So many other commodities have now become investment assets, because commodities have often outperformed even other asset classes like equities. Commodities have given much better returns, and globally awareness about the importance of commodity investment has been rising, and that is why huge amount of hedge funds and pension funds, mutual funds, they're all showing a greater interest today in investing in commodities, and commodities could be a great portfolio diversifier for all of us. But if you are an investor in the commodity market, you don't have to handle physical goods. You don't have to take delivery. You don't have to give delivery. You don't even have to know about the product. But if you want to be an investor in the commodity derivatives market through the futures contract route, you must have, I want to caution you, that you must have adequate product knowledge and market knowledge. Extremely important to gain product knowledge and market knowledge. Whether it is any agriculture commodity or any other metals or energy products or anything for that matter, you need to have adequate product knowledge and market knowledge, which is extremely important. Okay? And your decisions to trade should be well informed with backing of research, etc. Now, benefits of futures trading, I'm sure Amit will talk about price discovery, price risk management, and the third one is investment opportunity. I'm getting very strong signals from the back to stop it. I think Anita's, anyway, okay. Let me just allow me the luxury of 1 minute. Let me talk about the IMC Chamber of Commerce and Industry. It's a 115-year-old chamber headquartered in Bombay. We have a large number of expert committees and we have excellent infrastructure. When anyone who comes to Bombay, please visit the IMC is bang next to the Churchgate railway station and be associated with the IMC Chamber of Commerce and Industry. We have a young leaders forum, and Anita is kind of coordinating the efforts of the young leaders forum. Plus we have very large number of events that we do. And we are of course SEBI recognized training institution as I mentioned. Therefore, with this I think I must stop here. I must conclude my presentation. Thank you very much. Good luck. God bless you all. One disclaimer I always make: I am not a trader. I don't hold any trading position anywhere, neither in the physical market nor in the futures market. I'm a teacher. I'm a trainer. I'm also a student of the market. Okay, I've been a student for the last 40 years and I now teach. Okay, and therefore with this, let me say thank you very much. Good luck. God bless you all. Stay back. Amit will make a good presentation. We'll have an open house. We'll have at least 10 or 15 minutes of Q&A. Thank you very much.
I think, Amit, I request you to continue the flow. Very interesting.
I think 50% of the job is already done by Chandrashekhar sir. It's my privilege that I am a speaker post Chandrashekharan sir. So before I begin my presentation, I just want to understand from the audience, how many of you are into commodities trading? Please raise your hand. Okay, none in the room. And how many of us are consumers of commodity in our day-to-day lives? See, there is a disparity between consumer and a trader, right? How many of you actually go to grocery store along with your parents or maybe husband and wife for grocery shopping, either to a DMart or a Futures? What changes have you seen in last 3 years in your shopping bill when you go for a grocery purchase or a vegetable purchase? Anyone from the audience? Inflation. See, inflation is a very macro word you have been using.
Can I give one input?
Yeah.
Good experience with my wife. I see the package size is reducing.
Great observation. Okay, the packet size is reducing. And with the reducing packet size, the price of that packet is increasing. How many of you know what is the price trend of an edible oil for last couple of years? Raise your hand and maybe you can be louder.
180 to 200 per liter.
Okay. And what was the high price and what is the price now?
At present time it is 180 to 200.
Okay.
For 2 years it was around 130 to 140.
Okay. And the peak was somewhere around 250 liters also for a premium edible oil. So as Chandrashekhar sir said, we are one of the largest importers for crude oil, but simultaneously we need oil and edible oil equivalent. We are one of the largest importer for crude oil as well as for the edible oil. To take my session further, I'll just introduce myself. My name is Amit Upadhyay, and as said by sir, I had business development and market data sales at NCDX. We are one of the largest agriculture commodity derivatives stock exchange in the country with 80% market share since inception. And about NCDX, it is National Commodities and Derivatives Exchange. Our key promoters are LIC, NABARD, NSC, IFCO and public sector banks, for your information. Now I'm just introducing commodities for you. So as we have seen in slide of Chandrashekhar sir also, India is one of the major consumer of commodities such as crude oil, natural gas, coal, metals and agriculture product. As he said, he was giving reference of our grandparents wearing dhotis, our parents maybe they will have 5 pairs of clothes. But I have seen a lady in my office never repeating her clothes 30 days in a month. That is the kind of demand that we have seen. Sir said that our population is 140 crore. Can we believe every year at least 5 crore population would be getting married? And every marriage we will have at least 500 as an audience to that marriage. So look at the demand that gets created for agriculture commodities, for clothes, because हर किसी को शादी में जाना है तो अच्छा कपड़ा चाहिए. So demand for clothing, demand for cotton. Yes or no? Yes. You agree? Look at the agriculture consumption, look at the edible oil consumption of that 5 crore marriages, which will invite 500 per person. Almost what is the size of demand for your edible oil? Demand for chana, demand for besan, demand for pulses, demand for spices. Where does this demand come from? Where does this supply come from? India. And if we are not self-sustainable, then we import from foreign countries, right? So this is just to give you a perspective of about demand and then supply. And one best thing about this market is that commodity derivatives market and currency derivatives market or currency markets, these markets purely work on only demand and supply. That's it. If you are able to gauge what is the demand, if you are able to gauge what is the supply, and there are few other factors if you are able to get it. Sir mentioned about government policy support, what is the weather conditions, climatic conditions, what is the price, bhav su chale che, that is very important. Bhav kya lagta hai, price kya lagta hai. So I'll take you further. So rapid development of this country, as we said, 140 crore population, so your demand for food security, demand for infrastructure, transportation. So everything, when we begin our day to ending of our day, commodities are involved. But we feel that investment as an asset class is only equity derivatives market or equity market. And now out of this equity market also, if you look at NSE figure, 80% of their volumes are from derivatives. It's not, now the traditional way of investing into securities market. Everybody is just talking about derivatives, and out of that derivatives, 95% is options trading, and nobody is making money. Correct me if I'm wrong. One biggest advantage of trading commodities and knowing about commodity derivatives is commodities have got an intrinsic value. Now, what is intrinsic value? आप सभी लोग जो इस रूम में मौजूद हो, कभी आपको ऐसा नहीं होगा कि आप ग्रोसरी स्टोर में गए हो, you bought 20 kg of आटा and you got 10 kg of sugar free. ऐसा हुआ है कभी? किसी के साथ हुआ रहेगा? Why? Because there is a value of that commodity. Adani can come from 4,000 to 1100 and now at 1900, nobody knows the exact price of that stock. The face value of the stock is 10 rupees or 100 rupees, but the market value of the price, nobody can actually gauge what should be the right value. In commodity derivatives market or in commodities market, because of the demand and because of the supply, someone is able to gauge the right value. Suppose the trading stock is or a commodity is trading at 100 rupees, the price falls to 90 rupees, the person who is a stockist, he will immediately come rushing, अरे 90 रुपए में तो नीचे कभी जिंदगी में गया नहीं है. Imagine tomorrow, if there is a sale of Zara, buy anything at 500 rupees, what will happen? Please answer यार. लूट हो जाएगी वहां पे, right? बट अभी जब वहां पे प्राइस 50,000 है फटी हुई जीन्स का, सो हाउ मेनी ऑफ अस आर गोइंग टू बाय दैट 50,000? अगेन देयर इज एन इंट्रिंसिक वैल्यू. So when there is an intrinsic value, your investment will never become zero while you are trading with commodity derivatives market. And there are a lot of myths about this market which I'll take it further, which sir also mentioned that there is a myth that you have to take deliveries, you have to give deliveries. मैं तो दिन में 4 चम्मच हल्दी कंज्यूम करता हूं. What I am going to do with 50 metric ton of हल्दी और जीरा और धनिया? I will explain you how and how you make money. Talking about commodities, so we have seen 80% of our imports are crude oil and edible oil. We are the second largest producer of steel in this country. How many of us know? We need infrastructure. Sir was talking about 1 trillion economy. We need road, we need railways, we need airways, we need waterways. Look at the highways which is got constructed in last 10 years. Look at the demand for steel. The prices of steel were 25,000 2 years before. Today the steel is trading at 50,000 rupees raw steel. When you convert that steel into TMT bar or maybe some channel angle ingot product, that is again 5,000 to 6,000 rupees higher. But how many of us do we really know what is commodities? Because market में invest करना मतलब क्या मालूम क्या? 100 रुपए का भाव, 125 का टारगेट, 90 का स्टॉप लॉस. That is market for everyone, right? Correct me if I am wrong. जितने लोग हंस रहे हैं सबके लिए मार्केट यही है. चाहे वो रिलायंस है, आईसीआईसीआई बैंक है, गोल्ड है, क्रूड ऑयल है, नेचुरल गैस है. 90% of the people who trade into crude oil, natural gas do not actually understand what is this product. But just एक रिसर्च कॉल आया, 100 रुपया भाव છે, 125 નું ટાર્ગેટ છે, 90 ની સ્ટોપ લોસ છે. This is not trading, this is not investment. It has to be what sir has said, that if we really want to become good investor, good hedger, good speculator, good trader, the world's best traders are commodity derivatives traders. They are the best traders. आज आप इक्विटी में चले जाओ, करेंसी में चले जाओ, and if you look at commodity derivatives trading, best traders are those who really understand commodity derivatives or commodities market because of intrinsic value, because of the range. आज Reliance Industries, can anyone gauge where it will go? No. Suddenly yesterday it was 5% up. Relief ऐसे. Look at ITC people, those who have invested in ITC for last 10 years, 15 years. This time it went 300 and कुछ तो हुआ, चलो कुछ तो हुआ. Correct? Commodities में ऐसा नहीं है. Sir was speaking about so many events. COVID happened, Russian war happened. I just wanted to help him, El Nino now. I was talking to few farmers yesterday. Entire wheat crop has got damaged just because of El Nino, because of heavy rainfall. Now what is going to happen? Your supply is going to be impacted. Now when supply is going to be impacted, what will happen to the price? We have seen Parle-G biscuit, today I am 40 years old, I don't have any shame of hiding my age. I see Parle-G ka price 4 rupees se 5 rupees mein for last so many years, 2 rupees se 4 rupees. But have we ever understood why the pricing is still the same? Maybe packet size would have been reduced little bit. Those who are old timers, those who have been consuming Parle-G for so many years. What are the contents in Parle-G? Wheat, sugar, palm oil. Do we see wheat prices जो आज है वो 40 साल पहले भी वही थे? शुगर के प्राइसेस वही थे? पाम ऑयल के प्राइसेस वही थे? No. Because of pricing, risk management, proper planning, they are able to manage that price. Now we will come to this El Nino effect and how hedgers are impacted, how farmers are impacted, how speculators can make money and how people can safeguard their risk. Which is again, sir mentioned, price is ultimate. How are we going to hedge the price? That is most important thing. Now, why agriculture commodities are important? First, it gives the food security to your country. I think when, before COVID, when we were part of World Food Security Commission, then, we said no. First, we have to be self-sufficient. Then only we will be able to supply to the world. So whatever we produce, organizations like NAFED, HAFED, today Modi government have declared that they are going to provide people below poverty line, 80 crore people, they are going to get free ration without any cost. So from where does it? You cannot produce agriculture commodities or wheat, rice, sugar from a factory, right? It has to be produced. So government is one of the major active buyer. They have to keep surplus because if something happens, before I was coming, I was reading one country, I forgot the name, Tengurle or something, that country's name. They are going to impose penalty on people that they cannot drink water beyond a particular ml. There is such water scarcity in that country. I'll just tell you the name of that country. That suppose you are supposed to get only 100 ml of water for drinking per day, you cannot drink beyond that because that is the problem of that country. There is a drought situation. So government has to be active in procurement of agricultural commodities. One is to supply to the poor and needy. One to keep surplus with them. There are any unavoidable circumstances, war-like situations. See what has happened to China, Russia, Ukraine. They were one of the world's wheat largest producers, exporters. Sunflower oil producers, they were exporters. What happened to the price? The price went up because of this. Steel, which Russia and Ukraine, they contribute 11% to the world steel production. Because of the war, the prices moved from 43,000 to 65,000. I met somebody today in Ahmedabad. They got impacted with 78 crores of losses just because of Russia-Ukraine war. Because they didn't hedge. So उन्होंने जो contract लिया था, the steel prices were 42,000, they had to procure at 68,000. 62,000 was the raw material cost. Finished product of TMT, Saria, whatever is required in the construction of road or any infrastructure project, look at the shoot in the margins. Your profit margins get eroded. Now they are writing to Government of India, you please look into this. कोई सुनवाई नहीं है, because that is what price you enter into and there is no price risk management, there is no hedging. So export earnings, India is one of the largest exporter to the world. We are exporting, as sir mentioned, cotton, guar gum. How many of you know that India is the world's largest producer of guar seed? हम वो guar की भाजी खाते हैं, guar फल्ली. So seed को process करके there is guar gum which is being produced. India produces 80% of the world production of guar seed. And out of that 80%, 90% is produced from Rajasthan and few areas of Haryana. So we are one of the, and guar gum, guar seed is the only derivatives contract available in India. We are not aware about that. The consumption of guar is in pharma, cosmetics, ice creams. There are crude oil extraction mein guar gum powder is used. Shale oil. So if there is a demand for crude, there is demand for guar gum. And we should be aware about, these are the opportunities where we can invest and we can make money. How? That we will help you. Retail livelihood, today as we are talking, more than 50% of India's population. So 70 to 75% of the population's livelihood is still dependent on agriculture while we are talking. And when the rural economy grows, your entire economy grows. Industrial raw material, soya bean, maize, cotton, edible oils, all these are raw materials, rubber, all these are raw materials to the finished goods which is required for domestic consumption, for exports, and environment sustainability. This is very important, Green Revolution came in 1971. Today also, if the agriculture is not produced, the land is not harvested, it is going to impact our environment. Soil erosion will happen. That is the reason agriculture is very important for all of us. When we talk about hedging and price risk management, so why? Now I was just talking about El Nino. So what happened in El Nino? Suddenly, because of unexpected weather and climatic changes, we have seen rainfall, right? Now this is a peak harvest season for your wheat crop. Last year same thing happened, the prices of wheat which was 16 to 18 rupees is shooted up to 35 rupees. Heat wave. Now El Nino effect. Now what has happened? I am a producer, I am a farmer. So one side of this class is ITC, Britannia, Parle-G, Patanjali, who requires wheat as a raw material to produce atta, biscuits and various products which is based out of wheat. Okay. So you are going to produce these finished goods 365 days because your plant will run. Just because arrival season आ गया तो हम 4 चपाती के जगह पे 40 चपाती तो नहीं खाएंगे, right? So our production is in one season, but our consumption is spread 12 months. Now who are the consumers? Consumers are these corporates who manufacture. Consumers is your state government who need to procure. Consumer is your central government who need to procure and redistribute these food grains to poor and needy in terms through Ministry of Corporate and Food Affairs through the rationing shop. Now what is going to happen? There is surplus which will meet certain period of distribution through rationing. But this year, because the crop has now damaged, what will happen to the price? The price will shoot up. There will be demand. So there is a mismatch in demand and supply. So your supply is going to fall and your demand will keep constant. Demand will not rise. Demand will keep constant. So because of the mismatch in demand and supply, what will happen to the price? The price goes up. Simple economics. I as an investor, I want to find where is this gap between demand and supply. And if I foresee because of the arrivals, the impact on the arrivals, impact on the quality. So what will happen because of El Nino? The farmer will wait for the rains to go. He will try to at least get 50% of the damaged crop. He will be able to get 30-35% out of that. And what will be the quality? Deteriorated. So the existing quality which is available as a surplus with a stockist or a trader, what will happen? Demand for that will rise. Because Patanjali, Britannia, ITC who are going to produce wheat flour, they need good quality wheat, right? They just cannot provide atta from a bad quality. So what will happen? The person who is holding that wheat, he will sell at a higher price. Now what will happen to the profit margins there? They didn't anticipate that this is going to happen. They were not prepared that this is going to happen. Neither the farmer nor the consumer. They were not prepared. So what will happen? What will happen? The input cost of the farmer will not fetch the right price. There will be no profit. What will happen to the consumers? The price will rise, but they will not start selling atta 500 रुपए किलो या 500 रुपए में 10 किलो. आज जो 250-300 रुपए में आपको 10 kg का पैकेट मिलता है, they may rise % because there is cutthroat competition. Those who have bought wheat in sufficient stock over a period of time. So what will happen? How the consumer and the producer use the commodity derivatives platform? They use through hedging. So I as a farmer, during the Diwali time when I was cropping my plant, during the sowing of the seed, I would have went to the NCDX platform and sold April futures contract. The price of that contract would have been at say 20 rupees a kg. Similarly, the ITC, Britannia and Patanjali's of the world, or even the central or the state government, they could be buyer on our platform, that at least I'll keep my quantity buy at 20 rupees. Now, at the time of the harvest, if the price is above 20 rupees, farmer is free to go and sell in the mandi at a higher price, right? He will square off his position here and he will sell there. So profit from one market is compensated by loss in another market. No profit, no loss. It's a price risk management. What happens to Patanjali? They bought at 20 rupees. Now the price is 40 rupees. So they will sell at exchange platform where the price is at 40 rupees. Now, at the time of harvest. So 20 rupees ka compensation mila exchange se. Now they will go and buy in physical market at 40 rupees. So no profit, no loss. But had they been not taking this kind of position, both the producer and the consumer, 20 rupees loss to each. You are getting my point, my example? So this is very, very important in terms of price risk management. So
One segment, very clearly, when you face price risk, there is a volatility in price. You need to manage that price risk, which is called hedging, which is what Amit is saying. Hedging will protect your built-in profit margin. Hedging will not give you windfall gains. Let's be very clear. Hedging will not bring windfall gains, but will protect your existing profit margins. And if you don't hedge, even that existing built-in profit margin will get wiped out. That is all the point is.
So budgeting and planning is our second point. You know, I have a production line. I am going to produce atta over a period of 12 months. So every month I have a requirement of, so say, 1000 metric ton. And futures platform, they have got April expiry, May expiry, June expiry, July expiry. There are futures contract. So every expiry you can go and buy that much of quantity what is needed on your platform. The moment you procure from the physical market, you can square off this position. And the values are settled, no profit, no loss. So the second thing is financing. Now I have procured something, I'm a stockist, I'm a trader, I have stock on my hand. I supply to various processors, millers in the market. I buy from farmers, I'm a trader, I'm a stockist. For me, the biggest risk is the fall in my existing holding. Suppose I am holding 1 lakh metric ton of wheat. What is the risk that I carry as a stockist? The price, which is 20 rupees, if it falls to 15 rupees, my 50 crore rupees is gone. So what I will do, I will sell on the exchange platform, I will become a seller. I will deposit this 100 metric ton of wheat in a NCDX accredited warehouse. I will go to a bank, I will take an ENWR funding, which is electronic negotiable warehousing receipt, which INAM government is talking about. So what I will do, I will deposit my goods in the warehouse, I will approach a financial institution, a bank or an NBFC, and I will take funding. You know, that will help me for my working capital. Even if I am a processor or a miller, say for example, I am an edible oil producer. Now I procure the raw material, say soya bean, I procure the soya bean, or I procure chana and I am converting into besan, or from soya bean I am making soya bean oil. So I have 5000 metric ton of soya bean available with me because I have to run my plant for a period of next 6 months. I have a stock. I don't crush it immediately because, you know, that is my planned inventory. So I will go to the bank and I'll take a funding against that, which will help me in my working capital finance. That is how people plan. They make budget, they do financing. And one of the most important thing today is, based on my current spot price, exchange gives me a price discovery mechanism on its platform where it shows where the price is headed in future. If my average cost of buying is suppose X rupees, and if the price is at par, you know, there is no risk for me. But the moment the future prices keep rising, you know, that keeps me on my toes, because that is going to eat my profit margins. So I have to hedge accordingly. Risk mitigation, financial management, price stability, and improved market efficiency. Now, the type of players that is available in the market. One is an arbitrager who buys cheap from one market and sells high in another market. That is an arbitrager. Who are opportunists, who are a physical trader. माल लेके रखा है, 20 रुपए में माल ले लिया, and 25 रुपए में वायदा बाजार 25 रुपए में चल रहा है. So immediately 5 rupees का carry मिल रहा है मुझे. So I will sell and I will earn that 5 rupees margin. At the time of delivery, I'll deliver on the exchange platform. So I buy cheap from one market, I sell high on another market. There are arbitrage that we do on BSE cash, NSE cash to BSE, NSE, FNO, right? We do it or not? Similarly, then there are spread traders. Now what is spread trading? Spread trading is, suppose the April price is 100 rupees and May price is trading at 105. The spread is 5 rupees. There are specific spread traders, and this calendar spread trading is one of the beautiful aspect on commodity derivatives, where you just trade badla. So when you go to a physical market, आपने सुना होगा equity में भी सीधा badla would remain constant over a period of time. Whether that is going to be ये 5 रुपया 10 रुपया हो जाएगा, या ये 5 रुपया 0 हो जाएगा, या ये 5 रुपया -5 हो जाएगा. And this is what generally spread traders do. And when somebody is doing a spread trading, their risk becomes minimal, because you are not trading on the prices of the commodities, you are trading the difference between 2 calendar months of the same underlying instrument. And that is how, when you trade calendar spreads, that becomes the beautiful instrument to trade. Your risk becomes 0 and your margin requirement becomes 50% only on the exchange platform. So with low capital, you can do that. When we talk about farmer producer organizations, in a country like India, every farmer has on an average 1 acre of land holding. So, they don't have that sizable production that they can individually come and trade on the exchange platform. Because various commodities, they come at 3 metric ton, 5 metric ton or 10 metric ton size that an average farmer cannot produce. That is the reason all these individual farmers, they are coming together and they are forming farmer producer organizations, FPOs, and exchange gives special benefit to these FPOs to come and trade on our platform. There are margin benefits, early pay-in payout happens to them. When they are seller, when they deposit goods, they don't have to give margins on the clearing corporation. So there are various benefits. These FPOs, they come and trade, and whatever profit they make out of that trade is equally distributed. I'll give an example of chana and mustard seed. Couple of years before, SEBI along with exchange NCDX, we initiated put option buying for farmer producer organization. Now, chana and mustard, they at the time of sowing, they bought 5,500 ka put option by paying XYZ premium. So they paid premium to the exchange by buying a put option. So I hope there are a lot of options traders. So when you buy a put option, you don't have an obligation to sell, right? You don't have an obligation to deliver. Now at the time of expiry of this contract, at the time of harvesting, if the farmer fetches better price than exchange, they deliver on the physical market. But at that time, the chana and mustard prices were around 6,000 rupees. So they went to the physical market and sold. Had the chana and the mustard prices below 5,500 rupees, they would have exercised their put option rights, and the person who has taken the premium from the FPO, he would have bought the commodity from them. So in short, this becomes a insurance product for FPOs. And FPOs have participated around 4,000 metric ton of chana and mustard on our platform. At this point of time, while we are speaking, we have put options, call and put options in spices, in guar seed, guar gum, barley, maize. These are the products which is available for options trading on NCDX platform. There are examples, Chandrashekhar sir, I would like to highlight this to you, that FPOs have not only sold, but as I mentioned, when FPOs saw that, there is shortage in the physical market, They were buyer on the exchange platform. They bought delivery, they took delivery from exchange and they sold in physical market and they made money, and that profit was distributed to their farmers. So FPOs are now becoming advanced. You know, we did Krishi Rath campaign and everything, you know, FPOs were talking about why you have suspended commodities like chana and mustard and we want put options trading. So now farmers are talking about derivatives trading on NCDX platform. When we talk about GDP, again, India GDP, agriculture contributes around 18 to 19% on India's GDP. As we spoke, more than 50% of our population livelihood is still on agriculture. It was the least impacted segment of the market because of pandemic. हर किसी ने गरम दूध में हल्दी डाल के पिया. Correct me if I am wrong. Yes? In US we call turmeric latte. यहाँ पे नानी के नुस्खे, ओनली गर्म दूध में हल्दी डाल के फीवर हो गया, और इफ देर इज अ बॉडी पेन, लुक एट द डिमांड विच वॉज क्रिएटेड वर्ल्ड वाइड फॉर क्वालिटी टर्मरिक. वी हैव सीन टर्मरिक प्राइजेस ऑन 6,000 to 10,000 rupees. Again, you know, this is purely on demand and supply. Jeera prices in last maybe 1.5 years from 12,000 to 38,000 rupees. This is what returns commodities have given to our market. So share to global agriculture output to the world from India is around 7.5%. Agriculture contributes around 19% to our GDP and 58% of employment from this sector. Key challenges. Now the important key challenges are no price risk management for value chain participants. So the policy from our regulators and government has to be stable. In last couple of years, we have seen suspension on chana, suspension on mustard, suspension on soya bean and soya oil. In fact, sir, today before coming here, SOPA and MOPA, they have written to Ministry of Agriculture, Ministry of Finance, Ministry of Consumer Affairs to begin futures trade on all these commodities because of the losses they are incurring. There is no platform for price risk management. There are no futures product, there are no derivatives product which is leading to this. Because of the timing, I am not getting into too much detail. I am just taking you to the key slides because I want you to know more and how to begin trading, hedging, risk management in commodity derivatives. So if we look at role of agri-economy, which sir has already shared, share in national income, largest employment, contribution to capital formation, and now as we have seen, you know, this capital is going out of the country also, where we see mergers and acquisition happening, providing raw materials to industry. Look at rubber, look at the tire industries, look at the number of automobiles that is getting produced in this country, look at the consumer durables, look at television, washing machine, fridge, mobile phones, automobiles, steel. Look at the requirement, look at the infrastructure development. Spot market we have already discussed. Derivatives, why it is required? Purely for the purpose of price risk management and hedging. Now why agri derivatives? Sir has shown you a slide which spoke about agriculture as an asset class. When it comes to asset class, we always talk about equities, we always talk about bonds, we always talk about gold and silver. Asset class, purest form of exposure. You know, we buy insurance for our two-wheeler, four-wheeler. How many of us really buy term insurance for us? I see young population in this classroom. Sir, you would agree, Chandrashekhar sir, that you know people would want to buy policy for their stuff which they have bought. You know, even mobile is getting insured, but lives are not getting insured. You know one reason why? Because that is an intangible product. We love to see, अरे मैंने iPhone 14 Pro खरीदा, because you know you see, you know there is a value in my hand. But can you go and tell someone मैंने 5 crore का पॉलिसी खरीदा? अगर खरीदा भी है तो कभी आपने कभी किसी को encourage किया है, भाई मैंने तो term policy लिया, would you also want to go and buy a term policy for yourself? In spite of knowing the benefits of having a term insurance. So we like to possess the, how many of us actually do shopping of clothes through Flipkart, Amazon, or Meesho is some new platform. I see not even 5%. But we actually love to go to a mall or showroom, see the product, go to a trial room, right? So we want to have a physical possession of the product, which can happen on commodity derivatives. Intrinsic value, I said, the value of your investment in turmeric, haldi, dhania, jeera, castor, guar gum, guar seed, sugar, cotton, this will not go down. Today, because in the last harvest season, a farmer is sleeping outside of the home where they have stocked the entire cotton inside their houses, expecting good price for their produce. So they are holding. You can hold your commodity. Physical possession, you can possess the investment that you want. Today if you buy 100 shares of Reliance, it will be in your demat. Definitely there was a time when one used to hold at his time during the ring trading and everything, where one used to hold a physical possession of the good. But यहाँ पे भी gold है. Guar is a gold for agri commodity. Steel is a silver on our platform. Castor, cotton seed cake, kapas, all these products are available to trade on our platform. When we talk about commodity futures, he was expecting me to explain you, yes, there is a myth that trading in commodity derivatives is really difficult. एक तो मुझे commodity समझ में नहीं आती है, कहाँ पे उगता है, क्या उगता है, what are the fundamentals, right? I see some smiling faces there. Equity में आप कैसे invest करते हो? 6000 स्टॉक, पी क्या है, डिविडेंड क्या है, बुक वैल्यू क्या है, ईपीएस क्या है, प्रमोटर करता क्या है, डेट है, क्या कैश रिच कंपनी है, राइट? यू हैव टू लुक इनटू ऑल दोस एस्पेक्ट्स. व्हेन यू ट्रेड इनटू कमोडिटी डेरिवेटिव्स, you have to just start and pick and choose one commodity to trade. What are the fundamentals? What are the historical prices for these commodities? ऐसा तो नहीं होगा ना 5 साल पहले 100 रुपया था और आज अचानक 4000 रुपए पे ट्रेड हो रहा है. नो. There is a range for a commodity, because at every bottom price there is a buyer, and at every top price or a higher price there is a seller, there is a stockist who wants to gain out of his total stock. He will say, okay, this is the best price that I can get for my produce, निकाल दो, भाव अच्छा है निकाल दो. So there is always a capping. When we talk about equities market, in a day your capital can get eroded with 20%. That is the upside and the downside in equity market. In commodity derivatives, it is only 4% for the initial period, and another 15 minutes down the line it is additional 2%. So अगर आपका 100 रुपए का वैल्यू है तो एक दिन में वो 6% से ज्यादा इरोड नहीं होगा. And second day, third day, there will be a buyer at the bottom price. वो बोलेगा physical market में it is at 100 rupees, NCDX पे 94 में मिल रहा है, delivery दो. So immediately there will be a buyer. So upper circuit, lower circuit gets freezed immediately. Unlike what happened कि Jet Airways का विमान ही नहीं उड़ रहा है, share is flying in the market. Correct? हो रहा है नहीं हो रहा है? अदानी 1100 रुपया हो गया. सच बताना कितने लोगों का हिम्मत था 1100 पे इन्वेस्ट करना? सच बताना. और कितने लोग ने वापस जब 1800 हुआ तो अफसोस किया, ओह शिट, आई मिस द बस. But still there is a risk, right? It depends upon risk appetite of a person. Here, the expiry of a commodity contract happens on 20th of the every month. आप लिख लो इसको. 20 तारीख को expiry होती है और 20 तारीख को अगर छुट्टी होगा, so your expiry gets preponed to 19th or 18th or 17th on during the previous trading day. Now, suppose the expiry is on 20th of the month. 5 दिन पहले आपका staggered period शुरू होता है. So staggered period is a period where the buyer has to give an intent to the seller, I want to take delivery, and the seller has to give an intent to the buyer that I want to give delivery. So accordingly they contact their brokers, their members, trading members, और वो इनको inform करते हैं कि मुझे delivery छोड़ना है, मुझे delivery चाहिए. Now we are a retail investors, we are young population. मुझे delivery लेके करना क्या है? मेरा घर में 10 metric ton रखने का जगह नहीं है. So what I will do on 14th evening, suppose I bought a commodity at 100 and now it is trading at 105. 14th इवनिंग को मैं 105 रुपए पे अपना प्रॉफिट बुक करूंगा, या 95 रुपीज हो गया तो 95 पे अपना लॉस बुक करूंगा और अपने पोजीशन से स्क्वायर ऑफ करके आई विल एग्जिट आउट ऑफ द कॉन्ट्रैक्ट. सो व्हाट सर, exactly this way you can trade commodity derivatives. If you look at gold and silver, just go and check. जैसे आप BSE NSE पे चेक करते हो कि आज रिलायंस अगर 10,000 शेयर ट्रेड हुआ तो उसमें से डिलीवरी कितना हुआ, यू गेट दैट डिलीवरी परसेंटेज ऑफ शेयर्स. सिमिलरली यू गेट ऑन द एक्सचेंज प्लेटफॉर्म ऑल्सो. आपको पता चल जाएगा इतना वॉल्यूम है और कल ओपन इंटरेस्ट कितना था और आज ओपन इंटरेस्ट में कितना चेंज हुआ है. सो ओपन इंटरेस्ट प्लेज अ वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट रोल कि चर्निंग कितना हुआ दिन भर में और कितना पोजीशन नया बिल्टअप हुआ. सो इफ देयर इज अ न्यू पोजीशन गेटिंग बिल्ट अप, then you come to know ki where the interest is getting built and what is happening. Whether I want to be a retail trader, suppose you are still bullish, आपने 14 को तो अपना पोजीशन एक्सपायर करके you got out of the contract. अब मे के कॉन्ट्रैक्ट में you can re-enter, so you can go long or short. अगर आप bearish हो तो आप नया short पोजीशन बनाओगे, that is called as rollover. So that rollover of position is always possible while trading into commodity derivatives. So without need of storage or physical holding of the goods, you can trade on the agri commodity or commodity derivatives platform. Second thing is, we have learned, do not put all your eggs in one basket. We saw Nifty for last 2 months. 18,500 से लोग 20,000 के सपने दिखा रहे थे. Yes or no? Call put भी लोगों ने लिया होगा. 20,000 का कॉल 10 पैसा 15 पैसा में मिल रहा है, ये सोच के कि ये 50 रुपया हो जाएगा. कितने लोग ने ऐसा इन्वेस्ट किया? रेज योर हैंड, बी ऑनेस्ट. सोचा तो होगा, बट ऐसा ट्रेड होता है, राइट? जब निफ्टी 18,500 पे ट्रेड होती है तो 19,000 दिखता है, लेकिन मार्केट ने क्या दिखाया? 17,000 दिखाया. फिर लोग 14,500 की बातें करते हैं. वी डोंट नो वेयर द मार्केट इज गोइंग टू हैपन. यू नो what FIAs are doing, that is going to impact the market. Here in this market, हल्दी में मंदी या तेजी आया तो जीरा में उसका इंपैक्ट नहीं है. जीरा में तेजी मंदी आया तो धनिया में नहीं है, अरांडे में नहीं है, कॉटन में नहीं है, कपास में नहीं है, या गुआर सीड में नहीं है. एवरी कमोडिटी हैज इट्स ओन फंडामेंटल्स. एवरी कमोडिटी हैज गॉट इट्स ओन डिमांड एंड सप्लाई. इट इज इंडिपेंडेंट ऑफ ईच अदर. कल को निफ्टी 5,000 भी हो जाएगा ना तो गुआर या आपका स्पाइस का, हम ऐसा थोड़ी मसाला खाना बंद कर देंगे सर निफ्टी 10,000 हो गया, ऐसा होगा क्या? फिर भी बिरयानी तो खाएंगे ना. दिवाली आएगा तो चकली लाडू करंजी तो बनेगा ना, कितना भी मंदी आएगा. सो डिमांड फॉर कमोडिटी इज गोइंग टू बी देयर. वेडिंग सीजन्स आर गोइंग टू बी देयर. दिस इज द डायनामिक्स ऑफ दिस मार्केट. अंडरस्टैंड. एंड करेंसी का इंपैक्ट यस हो सकता है ऑन फ्यू कमोडिटीज विच आर एक्सपोर्ट ओरिएंटेड, बट इक्विटी कल आपका निफ्टी अगर 5,000 हो जाएगा या 50,000 हो जाएगा, दैट इज नॉट गोइंग टू इंपैक्ट कमोडिटी डेरिवेटिव्स. इवन वन कमोडिटी डज नॉट इंपैक्ट अनदर कमोडिटी. दैट इज वन ऑफ द बिगेस्ट स्ट्रेंथ. इंट्रिंसिक वैल्यू, डिपेंडेबिलिटी ऑन अदर सेगमेंट्स ऑफ द मार्केट, वॉलिटिलिटी. आपका जो इक्विटी में कैपिटल इरोजन है वो यहां पे नहीं है. So these are the benefits of trading. Now separate asset class we spoke, less volatile as compared to equity. There capital erosion can happen 20% in a day. Here it is only 6%. Diversification to your portfolio. So whatever percentage of your allocation you are giving as an investment on your portfolio, allocate something to commodity derivatives also, and especially on the agri derivatives. Hedge against inflation. So what is CPI inflation? Whatever we consume is the inflation. Now pulses, edible oil, spices, cotton complex, everything is going to impact the inflation. Now if you trade these commodities, definitely the rise in this commodity, so on an average, if you see what is the return that equity or Nifty gives in a year, 12 to 14%. What is your latest inflation number? That is around 6.5%. So what is your actual return? But if you would have allocated some funds on agri derivatives and your inflation rises, definitely the price of commodity rise. That is going to help you to give returns, and that is how your hedge against inflation. Yeah. So how to trade on commodity derivatives is, all of you have a demat account. All you have to do is speak to your broker add NCDX as a segment on your demat account, choose any one commodity, read the fundamentals of that commodities, the brokers that you are associated with, they have an in-house research, they will help you. If there are clients who are exposed to these raw materials as a finished good, you can speak to them about hedging on the exchange platform. There are various contracts available, they can come and hedge.
One sec, Amit, that brings me to another point. If AMA desires, we can actually select 3 or 4 commodities and run their fundamentals, explain their fundamentals to the participant. Maybe it can be a separate
I think
seminar by itself.
No, we acknowledge.
Take cotton,
yeah.
take wheat, or edible oil, whatever, yeah.
So
thought
I
I'd
just
mention.
put it forward. You have a feedback form. Do write that. If you need it, we'll work out the program. Okay.
Sure.
Come, Amit,
So
come.
before, I'll just take another 5 minutes to sum up. So how to understand agri derivatives? Visit the NCDX website regularly, because that is the source of information for all of you. When you visit the website, you will get what are the, as sir mentioned during his speech, go and read the specifications. What is the specification of that particular contract? अगर आपको delivery में काम करना है. So Gujarat as a hub, I'll tell you, look at Disa, Unja, Patan, Mehsana, Sumerpur. Castor is the key commodity of Gujarat. Jeera, Dhania is key commodity of Gujarat. Cotton is key commodity of Gujarat. Kapas is key commodity of Gujarat. Cotton cake is traded on exchange platform. No, these are the key commodities which you can choose one commodity, understand the dynamics of that commodity and start trading. On the exchange platform, you get the market data on our website, so you will come to know which are the gainers, which are the losers. Do paper trading, understand the price, understand the range of this pricing. Out of sight is out of mind. If you are a trader, if you are a dealer, if you are a client investor, go to investing.com, go to TradingView, install it on your mobile, just select NCDX. All the prices real time comes in your mobile handy. You can see what is the 52-week high, 52-week low, what are the historical open, high, low, close in last 15 days, 20 days. You will come to know what is the range, price range of that commodity. End of the day, everything is price.
But Amit, I'll stop you. I think we'll do this program separately. How
Yeah.
to
Read, how to read the market.
There's a detailed program we can.
Bilkul.
Correct. So another last product that I want to talk about is steel, which is available for trading, which is a non-agri product. As sir mentioned about aluminium, copper, on NCDX platform, we have steel as a product. In last 1 year, we have seen price volatility from 42,000 to 54,000, from 54 again to 47, from 47 to 52, and now again in the range of 47, 48,000. So volatility gives entry, exit, trading opportunities, investment opportunities for traders, investors, and it's a good platform for all the hedgers who are exposed to price risk to come and participate on the exchange platform. When you hedge, that helps you to lock in the price of your input cost, which is going to help you to keep your margins intact over a period of time. And that is how hedging should be treated as an insurance product for all those who are exposed to price risk of commodities, which act as a raw material for the industries, for the processors, for the millers, for the consumers. That's it from my side. Thank you so much.
Thank you. A big hand to Amit. Amit, thank you very much. Very interesting presentation, very intensive, educative, communicative. Thank you very much. There is so much to talk about this market, and there's so much that we want to share. Maybe we'll do a series of events on this, and hope to have opportunity to share our thoughts with you in future.
Yeah, I
Sir.
think still we promised you, if you have any question, we are open. I think we can wait for another 5-10 minutes. Any specific question? Okay, we'll take 2. First you can start. Be audible, loud. And sir, you have to.
But no price outlook. Don't ask for price outlook. Yeah, please.
My question is, regarding an example you gave about how one can keep the stock collateral for acquiring the working capital. So for example, if I have a chana mill, I have already taken out money out of my OPEX column for procuring that chana from somewhere. collateral to acquire a working capital. How does that economy work? Like, I'm a bit confused about that. And second question is regarding 1000 साल से हम लोग बाजरा खा रहे हैं. So why the sudden push of millet now? Like, why now and why millet?
So millet, Chandrashekhar ji will answer. That is something on the global political thing. While I was talking to you about, financial planning, so there are two things. When you are a stockist and you are a supplier to various industries. So when you go to a physical mandi, you will see the farmers, they harvest, they bring their produce to a physical mandi, and there are various traders who buy this harvested as it is from the farmers. Post which they take it to their warehouse, they do sorting, grading, cleaning, and then based out of that, they keep the stock in their warehouses. And then they deliver the goods to various processors, millers, who would consume these raw materials and make finished goods. For example, if I am a chana trader, I will go to various chana mandis across the country. I will procure chana. Now there are different grades of chana. Now this is a arrival time of turmeric. I will give you an example of turmeric. 15 days before I was in Marathwada belt of Maharashtra, and it has become one of the biggest producer of turmeric in India. Sangli, Nizam and Erode were the major producers, but farmers, they shifted from banana, cotton and soya bean, because they thought, with less input cost, they are fetching better prices in turmeric. So everyone switched to turmeric. And suddenly in last 3 to 4 years, we see Marathwada has become largest producer of turmeric. Now when you become a largest producer of the turmeric, what will happen? Supply is high, but there is no demand. The farmer does not produce the quality crop. The moisture content is 15 to 20%. Okay? The acceptable moisture by a spices powder manufacturing or a turmeric powder manufacturing, say Everest masala or Goldie masala or any other masala you take, the moisture has to be in a range of 10 to 12% maximum. So they do not go and procure directly from a farmer because they don't get quality. And they are into the core business of making masala powder, not doing all the sorting, grading, cleaning, because there is a cost, there is a resource, there is everything which is into it. What they do is they buy from traders. So when now, suppose you are a trader, you procure 5,000 metric ton of turmeric from these farmers. So whatever you procure, you will do sorting, grading, because उसमें कचरा होगा, कीड़ा होगा, खराब quality का होगा. So you will segregate. Because if you don't give good quality to the exporter or the manufacturer, आपका हल्दी का कलर पीले के जगह पे आपका गुलाबी हो जाएगा या गाजर कलर हो जाएगा. So in commodities term उसको unboiled या गाजर तोंडी बोलते हैं, which becomes reddish in color. So they have to clean that unwanted material. They have to, now what will happen? अब मैंने 5,000 metric ton अपने warehouse में store कर दिया है. I am not going to sell to them immediately because अभी तो supply का season है. अभी मैंने सस्ते में माल खरीद के अपने गोदाम में स्टॉक कर लिया. I am going to dispose these during the season time, which will be during the off season, which is Diwali time, जब arrivals खत्म हो जाएगा. So what will happen? Your supply will slowly and gradually deteriorate, but your demand will be constant over a period of time. आपको export का भी demand है, आपको domestic का demand है. So what will happen? I have already deployed my capital. So I will go to a bank and an NBFC. I'll say, look, this is the 5,000 metric ton of goods which is there in my warehouse. This is in an NCDX WDRA approved warehouse, which is regulated by Warehousing Development Regulatory Authority of India. Now WDRA approved warehouse, that means the quality kept there is very good. Now they will approach a bank or an NBFC, they will give that receipt of the warehouse, they will take funding. So to do my business further, अब तो टर्मरिक तो मैंने प्रोक्योर कर लिया, अब आगे वीट आ रहा है, मुझे वीट के लिए पैसा चाहिए, बट मेरा पूरा फंड तो टर्मरिक में चला गया. नाउ वॉट एवर लोन आई हैव टेकन, सपोज माई टर्मरिक कैपिटल एम्प्लॉयड वॉज 500 करोड़, तो मुझे 300 करोड़ का तो लोन मिलेगा, तो 300 करोड़ का मैंने वीट खरीद लिया. सो दैट इज हाउ दैट हेल्प्स इन योर वर्किंग कैपिटल फाइनेंसिंग.
Thank you. I think Abhijji, we are going very long way. Just 1 minute. You
I
have-
think
listen to me
on
very
millets,
carefully. You have a question, you come personally here, but I have to conclude the
right.
session. So
Can I, sir, can I?
Yeah,
Yeah, millet, no,
So
therefore I thought
I think I will not take much time, but my big thank you note to both the expert speaker. My thank you note to daughter. Please, hi, last, Anjali, right? What is her name? Anita. Thank you note to you, and big thank you note to all of you. I can visibly see your thirst for knowledge. Your feedback will definitely push us to have a special program.
Sure,
So with
sure,
this,
we'll do.
I say
We'll
we
do.
conclude the program, and big thank you again to all of you.